Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Soviet Tier 7 Premium Heavy Tank, the Dreadnought KV-2. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Dreadnought, it is an absolutely insane Tier 7 Heavy Tank. It's basically a KV-2 with the same 152mm gun that is on the Slayer SU-152, which is a slightly buffed version of the gun that is on the SU-152, the Tech Tree one. So you get 175 pen on that instead of 135, I think it is, that's on the Tech Tree Slayer. And then you get that filthy 250 heat pen, and it's just, yeah, it's disgusting. And this tank, you add it to a KV-2 that's got a turret. Yeah, this tank's pretty dirty. It's pretty damn dirty, and I think it's available for 2,000 gold in the store at the minute, which is just absolutely nuts. And this is why, if you're playing Tier 7 at the minute and you're seeing a lot of Dreadnoughts, that's probably why. Because it's really cheap. And this tank is absolutely insane. It just is. Because it's really disgustingly derpily fun. And that's the thing, because it's a really fun tank to play because it's derpy. It hits like a sledgehammer, tier for tier, with that 700 alpha, I should say, or 910, depending on if you load the HE and pen the HE. And you're basically a KV-2, so, you know, you're a KV-2 from Tier 6, but up a tier, your mobility's got better, and then you've also got slightly better gun depression as well. And the gun handling's got slightly better as well, unless they break your gun like that and it goes to the moon. So the Dreadnought KV-2, it's up to Tier 7. It's a KV-2 at Tier 7. It's got 37 kilometers an hour top speed, with a 12 kilometer an hour reverse speed, 890 horsepower, which is 16.74 horsepower per ton ratio, which means that you do get to the top speed decently easily for the Dreadnought. It is still a heavy tank, so it's a bit sluggish getting there, but you do hit the top speed. Ground resistances that do hold the tank back a little bit, with the 2.39 soft terrain, 1.38 on medium, and 1.2 on firm. They are pretty bad ground resistances, which is why the tank feels fairly sluggish in terms of its mobility. 20 degrees a second on the hull rotation speed as well is very slow for this vehicle, which means it does turn very, very slowly. And it might be one thing that you want to try and buff up with clutch braking if it really does irritate you. You've got 448 meters of view range, which means you're not exactly blind for a Tier 7 heavy, but you've not got the best view range in the universe, but at least you can spot up to that 445 meter spotting cap. With a 21.89 degree a second turret rotation speed with the build that I run as well, means your turret traverse is faster because we've helped it with rapid aim. It's faster than the tracks, but it's still a slow turret traverse. It's still very, very slow getting this turret on target. You've got a 1.1 accuracy during rotation, which, well, is just not very good, really, if we're honest. And a 1.10 accuracy during rotation is really poor, which means as soon as you turn the tank, the aim circle blooms out massively. With a 3.69 accuracy during movement, which again is atrocious. And that's because you're a derp gun, and it tends to be the case for howitzers like this, that the accuracy is shocking like it is at 0.45 accuracy at 100 meters. The accuracy during movement rotation is also poor, meaning the gun handling is really wonky at times. You have 7 degrees of gun depression, which is an upgrade from the KV-2, and 7 degrees of gun depression means you're actually a little bit more flexible on ridge lines, which again helps to feel that little bit filthy for this vehicle, which is what you see me try and use in this replay. You've got a 16.77 second reload, which is 2.5k DPM if you were to pen the AP for 700 alpha. And you've got AP, heat, and HE with a 175 pen on the standard AP, 250 heat pen, which is just disgusting. It just goes through most vehicles you're going to face, to be perfectly honest with you. It's filth penetration. And 86mm of penetration on the HE means you can also pen a lot of vehicles with the HE from this 152mm gun, and that does 910 alpha as opposed to the 700 alpha of the AP and the heat rounds. You've got 700 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP with 875 meters a second shell velocity on the heat rounds. So the heat rounds are actually faster than the standard AP and HE, which is mental. Still not very good velocity. It's still way below average, but that's the derp gun on the KV-2, or the Dreadnought, I should say. You saw that first game with the high caliber, the 1351 base XP with the 3000 damage. Fairly average game for Dreadnought in a Tier 7 game there, where you saw the use of the ammo swapper, where we fire an AP, penning people with AP, needing the heat round occasionally, and then if we couldn't pen someone, like the T-29 that was hull down, who we were never going to pen, we just loaded the HE and we splashed him for 300, because the HE round is just the same as firing from a standard KV-2, which means the HE round has a lot of utility to it. But it's not a main HE firer, because the AP and the heat is just that dirty that you can pen pretty much everything, even up to tier 9 that you're going to face, and you absolutely slap them with that 700 alpha. And if you, let's say, if you pen things with the 86mm of penetration that's on the standard HE as well, you're doing them for 910, and it's a thing of beauty. The vehicle also has a 130% silver earn rate, which means it does make silver as well, which for a tier 7 premium is pretty nice for it also. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment for the Dreadnought KV-2? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Track Mechanic, Rapid Aim, with the Advanced Loader, the Optics, and the Ammo Swapper. Ammo Swapper because all 3 rounds are so good on this vehicle that you can switch to the round that is best for the situation, and especially since you have such a long reload, it is an asset for this vehicle that you absolutely need. Optics to be able to get the 448 meters of view range, because once again, this tank is blind if you don't help it, so having that view range is great. Also, HE round, because I can pen a Dreadnought. Oh, 801? That's a massive low roll game. Should have killed that guy with a shot there, but hey ho, I digress. Optics, because that 448 meters of view range is blind. We need to be able to spot for ourselves in the Dreadnought. If we don't help it out, we will get outspotted all the time, and it will be super duper frustrating. The Advanced Loader to get the best reload we can possibly get out of this tank. Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better, because the turret traverse is very slow, and it's one of the things that really annoys me, so I want to help it out with that. With all 3 gun perks to make sure that this gun can be as good as possible, because it is exceptionally derpy if you do not help it out. So naturally, you really want to do that with the Dreadnought if you can. Now, naturally, again, you could run this tank in so many different ways. If you are annoyed at how slow the tracks traverse, you could definitely drop something like Track Mechanic or Snapshot to be able to get clutch braking on it, and just make that track traverse a little bit quicker, and you will get it up to 22 degrees a second. If you wanted to go a bit faster in the Dreadnought as well, you could drop the Ammo Swapper and run the traction system to be able to get up to 40 kilometers an hour, and that would also help your track traverse too. But the Ammo Swapper is crucial for this vehicle. Since it came in around 6.0, you really want that Ammo Swapper because it revolutionises what this Dreadnought can do. But there's many different ways to set up a vehicle. There's no right or wrong way, really. It's down to you and how you feel comfortable playing a tank. So this second replay, we are here on this map, which is Serene Coast. We've managed to get 2,077 damage so far, with 303 assistance damage. And you've seen where each round is helpful. We fired a HE round into the Dreadnought to open up, because with 86mm of penetration, I know I can pen a KV-2 or a Dreadnought if I hit the right spot on the upper plate, or if I hit the flat bit below the gun on the turret of a KV-2, because that is also fairly easy to pen with the tank, as it is 75mm thick. So if you go against, if you're in a KV-2, it's advice for a KV-2 or a Dreadnought. If you're in one of these tanks and you load the HE, and you see yourself point your gun at you, aim below the gun on the flat part of the turret, and likelihood is you will pen it, and you will get a whole hefty chunk of damage. Sadly for us, when we fired at that Dreadnought, we rolled for 801 and left him on what, 3 hit points, was it? Something like that? Typical. RNG just said, absolutely not. I don't think you're allowed to kill this man. And so we just had to sit there and cry. And it's a disappointing time. But since then, we got a heat round in the 53 TP as well. We got a heat round into the lower plate of the T28. And then we bounced a heat round on the lower plate of the T28, which was surprising because 250 pen would probably go through that. But now we've got ourselves into the position to cut out the people going up the GH line. We've got a shot into the KV-3, which, shocker, set him on fire. It's not like KV-3s like setting on fire all the time. We see the Black Princess in the open, so we're going to aim up the shot, put the shot straight through the side of that guy for 679, and that's just the speciality of the Dreadnought. It hits hard. And if people make that mistake, you can just rack up the damage so quickly. And it's one of those tanks that, before you blink sometimes, you can have so much damage, and you sit there going, how did I get this much damage? What happened? Because the enemy team just go, oh, it's a Dreadnought, it'll be fine. And then they start driving out sideways on or giving you a low plate, all that good stuff. And you just farm away and get some stupid amount of damage. But we finished that game with the epic victory. 0 kills, 3.6k damage, 705 assistance damage, 124,000 silver, by the way, for the second class on 1584 base XP. 124,000 silver without a silver booster for the Dreadnought KV-2. I'd say it does make pretty good silver, this tank. It really does. Because especially if you're not firing the full heat rounds, it will make you some decent silver, which is nice. It's a nice thing, and especially for a tank that is so silly, because it is. It really is a silly tank. Pretty OP, to be honest, but there we go. So we're on this map, and we are on Live Oaks in this third battle. And what we're going to do is go to the 9-0 area, or the position at J9, so we can use the gun depression that this tank has at 7 degrees, just like the KV-2 does, to good effect. And it's very un-Soviet-esque that this tank gets 7 degrees of gun depression. Most Soviet vehicles get about 5, and you sit there going, I wish I had some depression. I'm such a happy tank! Yay! I wish I had some depression, you know? But having 7 degrees of gun depression for the Dreadnought is great. And it means you can just poke over ridge lines and go, hello, I've got a 152mm gun, and I like to go boom, you know? And then they lose 700 hit points. And then if you can pull back behind a ridge line, oof, that went to the moon. If you can pull back behind the ridge line, you get the chance to get safe, reload, and then do it all over again. And it's what the Dreadnought does. And if you can consistently do it, oh boy, it's so filthy. And that's what we're going to attempt to do in this replay. So we see the SC-100M1. I load the heat round, so I think, can I pen that with AP or heat? Oh, you know what? I'm going to fire the heat round. And Dreadnought said, nah. No, I don't want to hurt my Soviet brethren. So the shot went perfectly underneath that SC-100M1. I don't think I could do that again if I tried. This time, though, the heat round flies straight in. 719 damage. That guy is feeling that painful heat round there. We switch back to the AP, because I feel like I can get that into the T-25 Pilot or the Freedom here if it gives me a side. I'm not going to pen the Vizilla very easily, even with heat, so I load the HE to splash him. And that's why the ammo swapper is so vital for the Dreadnought, because you switch to whichever round is helpful. Heat rounds in that position are not even going to go through a Vizilla, so we may as well just fire HE, splash him if we can. So we wait for the reload, wait for the aim time, put the shot in with HE for 375, and every HE round, since it's a howitzer that's hitting that guy, is probably damaging modules as well. So that's always a good thing. As you can see, we damaged his fuel tanks. There's a chance we could set him on fire without even penning him. So we get the reload in, put the shot towards his turret, and that's the .45 accuracy there. The shot just flies above the Vizilla, which means we don't quite get the chance to be able to kill him. The Freedom's moving down into the ditch. There's not much we can do for that heavy tank in front of us unless our whole team moves, in which case, yes, our team is doing it. So with the Freedom gets shut down, there's the medium tank on our left that gets shut down by the heavy tank. So we're going to load the heat rounds and go after this Vizilla now. I knew I was going to take the hit from the Vizilla coming over that ridgeline, but it's one of those calculated risks. It's just what you got to do. Sometimes you have to take a hit to progress. And that's what we're going for. So we've got the 250 heat pen in. And the gun said no, which is a sad time. I mean, it wasn't fully aimed, but it was mostly the turret in that aim circle, and it still chose to hit the floor above him, which is always a sad time, but it is what it is. It is a derp gun at the end of the day. The derp gun will, you know, it's in the name, people. It will derp and miss. So we go for the side of the turret of the Vizilla, and it goes to the extreme far left of the turret, and ends up bouncing off the side of the turret, which was a bit frustrating, but there we go. Again, we were just rushing the shots because I was feeling like he might snap his turret back on target. Wait for him to turn the turret a bit more this time. Aim for that cupola. That's what we should have aimed for in the first place. 250 heat pen, straight through. 600 plus damage on a tier 8 heavy tank there, shutting him down. But the team has lost the other side of the map. We don't really have to worry about that much, because it's team destruction. So there's no caps to defend. So what we want to do is think about defending ourselves on this flank, and where we're going to put ourselves to defend ourselves on this flank. So we're looking for shots into this Hydra, and I should be thinking, okay, what is going to be coming from behind us? I should have been looking to see if I could get shots at the guys that were spotted at C6, but we didn't. We load the HE in case we can splash that Hydra if he just pokes himself around the corner a little bit more. If he was to drive out fully sideways on, we get a shot, but yeah, he's just not playing ball. Then we see the 112. We can load the heat round and go through his lower plate, which is what we're going to do. Make sure the shot's fully aimed, and we fire through the train tracks, which is something you can do. Straight into that lower plate of the 112, putting him down to a one-shot for us. We're up to 2.5k damage. 337 assistance, and we are just in the perfect spot to defend the enemy team if they push through the middle. Now, obviously, what they want to be doing is pushing down the 1-2 and then pushing along the K line to come attack us in the rear. But what people tend to do is get overconfident. They think, aha, we know where the enemy team is, let's do it, let's push aggressively. And they'll push aggressively through the middle of the swamp, and that is just a bad idea, because you get caught out, and people can do what we're doing to that 112 now, which is getting shots underneath the train tracks, not really getting spotted while doing it, and you just die. Bit of an awkward shot here, though, at this 112, as we just can't quite get the gun depression, can't quite find the shot, and we are detected, which means something is looking at us. There's a heavy tank and a light tank on my left, which is something that I've got to just pay attention to. We see the MX-12T, though. I load the HE, see the back of him. That could have been a one-shot, Dreadnought. That could have been a one-shot, but no. You just chose the floor. Oh, pain. So we didn't get the chance to kill that light tank with a shot, but we know the IS-3 is coming behind us, so we turn our attention towards that Tier 8 Soviet heavy tank to make sure we're going to try to get rid of this guy. So we've got the heat round loaded, because if we get a shot towards his upper plate, we could pen it if we hit the pike nose in the right spot. But sadly, it hits the wrong spot, and we actually bounce. So what I probably need to do, it's what I'm thinking of at this moment in time, is load the HE shell, and that way I can knock this IS-3 down to a one-shot for my teammates, or make him a one-shot for a splash. But sadly, the shot misses that IS-3 and hits the floor. He misses his shot, fortunately enough for me, though, and that means I get away with it. Their KV-2 spotted on the other side, so we're just going to make sure that we can try and get rid of this guy. At this distance, I could pen that side turret with HE, but I just decide, okay, I'm going to guarantee the pen into that KV-2 with the AP round, and we get a good solid penetration on the KV-2, putting him down to a one-shot for most of my team. We really need to focus on getting rid of this IS-3, though, because he is the deadly target. So we switched back to HE, because, again, if I can splash him, I can make him a one-shot for my team, or I can just knock him down to a one-shot for me to finish off. You know, it's all that good stuff. But we have to be patient. We can't push the tempo at this point, because we could get shot by the 112 and shut down if we were to do it, or the IS-3 could just YOLO and finish us off, and we don't want that. So we see the IS-3, YOLO the shot into his turret for 324, putting him down to 217 hit points, which means he's a one-shot. If I was to splash him, I could also do that as well. The IS-3 actually gets shut down, and we've just got the AMX-12T left in front of us, and in fact they get shut down again. I mean, there's only 4 tanks left on the enemy team. The Hellcat, which is somewhere, the heavy tank that is spotted at C6. So we're just going to try and see if we can get a shot at the actual Hydra, who is still spotted from earlier on. So I fire HE at the turret roof there for 444. I could have looked at switching to AP and possibly going for a turret overmatch at the angle that he was at, but I didn't want to risk it. I just wanted to knock that guy's HP down if I could, and it's what we went for. The 112's travelling through the middle of the map, and again, it's a dangerous thing to do. Hellcat, I should load AP, but it's a Hellcat. And I think, well, 86mm of penetration on the HE, I'll pen that easily, right? Nah, RNG said absolutely not. We're just going to make you hit the tracks and do splash damage for 400. If you'd loaded AP, you could have killed that thing in one shot easily. But a bit of laziness came in, and a bit of overconfidence in the HE rounds came in, and the paper spitting Kleenex Hellcat just went, aha! You shall not kill me with one shot, Mr. Dreadnought. And it didn't happen. So we've loaded HE for the splash into the Hydra, because again, there's no way we're going to pen that Hydra, and we can still do a good set of damage into that guy with the HE, which is what we do. We actually tracked him as well, but I was really hoping that we'd get a bit of tracking, but it didn't happen. And the 53 TP shuts down the Hydra. And we finished with a great game there for the Dreadnought KV-2. Finished with the victory, 1 kill, 4.8k damage, 2021 base XP, which is a great game, and that's a first class with the High Caliber and the Confederate. 2021 base XP is a first class. I think it speaks volumes for the Dreadnought, to be fair. And yeah, that's the Dreadnought. It's available for 2,000 gold at the minute. It's absolutely insane as a tank, which is why you're probably seeing millions of them in Tier 7, because it's nutty. It's an old-school nutty premium. And that's the KV-2. Barrel of laughs. Amazing tank, because it's a bit OP. And yeah, that's the KV-2. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
a great success.